I do believe that you have to work on your self-worth if you're going to change your financial worth or your life influence or your ceiling in life.
I think the self-check conversation is so unique, and you constantly reminded me, like, it's okay if you fail. It's okay if you fail. Not everything has to go perfect. You're more empowering of me than you are of yourself at times.
This is a moment where we look into the camera and go, there's a lot of you listening who are self-checks. A lot of you listening who are way underachieving in comparison to your talent, your ability, your intelligence, your gifting.
So we're talking a little bit, this week we had a theme in the arena, which the arenas are in our communication community. We work on high performance coaching, leadership, communication, and character. We have memberships. There's a yearly membership. There's also a yearly conference, but it's our community. We do a weekly call in there for an hour and a half every week on Mondays at 10 a.m. And there's a few hundred people that jump on that. It's pretty amazing. But one of the things that we were talking about this week, the primary thing has been this idea of self-checking.
Yeah.
And we were sitting at a restaurant 2 Saturdays ago, maybe 3 Saturdays ago now. We were sitting at SB having ribs, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And I was bugging you about questions, or I was asking you all these questions, and I asked you, have you experienced leaders that self-check? And then self-checking is this idea in basketball where no one needs to cover you because you're not going to shoot the ball anyways. So it's just a self-check. They just leave you at the 3-point line, right? It's one of the most disrespectful things in basketball or in sports that person's not confident enough to take the ball and score. So we were applying that to like leadership principles. And I said, what do you do with leaders who self-check? How do you help them get their confidence back? How do you help them step into themselves? What do you do in that scenario?
I've always struggled with that. I'm not a person who wakes up in the morning going, I'm awesome. I'm more talented or more gifted or more capable. I'm just not that person. And so you let voices into your life early that
diminish you.
Yeah. And then it becomes who you are. It becomes the voice of you to yourself. And I've had to struggle with that all of my life. And some of it I can identify at times in my life where it reinforced my sense of insignificance. And I spent so much of my energy trying to be loved and accepted rather than to pursue my own uniqueness. And I just never had that internal thing that said, I don't care what anybody else says or what anyone else thinks, I'm just going to go do this.
Yeah.
And I said, even someone was around, my faith, I never wanted to bring shame or embarrassment to who Jesus is. And I wanted to live my life in a way where no one would ever question my integrity or question my motivation. I said, even still, I still had haters and I still had people who would attack me and question my integrity or my motivation. So I had to realize no matter what I did,
someone was going to be mad.
Yeah, and I think this is it. This is the self-check moment. You solve the problem by not stepping into the light. Because when you're in the light, you get the heat. And you have to decide, I want the light and the heat. It's a weird place. We have to go, I want the light. I want to be the person with the ball in my hands.
You want the spotlight.
I want, the spotlight.
Or like you have to lead it. It's your thing.
Yeah, I'm not going to hide.
Right.
I'm going to step up. I'm going to volunteer to fail.
Right. And then part 2 is?
And I'll take whatever comes.
No, but that's crazy. You said, I'm going to step up to fail.
No, I volunteer to fail or succeed.
No, but it's crazy because in Ed's head, there's no failure.
There's no failure.
It's just, I'm going to do this because I win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and I sent you that clip from Ronaldo.
I don't know. I didn't watch it, but I did tell you yesterday. No, I did tell you yesterday. What was the like? I kind of like. I was like, hey, can I give you a little bit of like a correction or like a note? What did I say?
What did you say?
It was at lunch, and I said, hey, can I give you like some feedback? Something that I've noticed you've been doing a lot in some of our calls on the arena is, hey guys, I'm not an expert, but. And then you follow it with something that an expert would say. So I just was like, hey, it's actually like if you can't say it with like the self-advocacy of the confidence of, I know this to be true. This is the difference. I know nothing and I can say I know this to be true with no guilt or shame. But you and then I asked you, I said, why do you preface some of the most brilliant things that you say with, I'm not an expert in this category?
I just happen to know something only an expert would know.
But no, I don't know if there's any there's teachers teaching, professors professing, presidents presidenting, kings kinging, and a lot of pastors pastoring about things they have no idea about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you have a plethora of knowledge. You probably know more things than most people and know more things about those things than most people. And yet you live with this, like, I don't know what it is, this thing of, I'm not an expert.
Yeah, I think some
What
of
is
it,
that?
it's, I know how little I know and how much is yet to be known. And I just,
So what you're saying with that's Erwin for the universe is so large and I only know so little
it's
of
so
it.
big and I'm so small.
So you're just aware of the universe.
Yeah.
So lack of awareness would help you.
Yeah, I'm trying to own that and accept the fact that I have earned the right to think of myself as an expert.
Yeah.
And that I have expertise that I've developed in my life, and that I've helped some of the most significant people in the world and mentored them and coached them, and that I get to do a rare thing that many people don't get to do,
Which is what?
to help the best of the best in the world become better.
Yeah, like we're at, and we don't talk about this. When I talk about what we do, it feels like I'm lying, because it's like so outlandish and so ethereal in one sense. But I'm like, no, we're at the Rams game and you're texting with the coach while they're, like before and after and while they're doing it, and you're sending encouragements and insights and ideas, and to a brilliant coach, probably the best coach in, he's the most winning coach of the Rams. And you get to have those relationships. We're at the show and you're texting with Jer, like things about the show in real life time. So you get to live with this active feedback with some of the most influential key industry leaders in their field who would 100% on God say they're experts in those fields. Maybe not Jer, because he's kind of like you in that, but what is it about? Because I look at it and I go, oh, I love screaming from the rooftops. I think you're the best communicator in the world. I think you are. I think you may not always be the most effective because you're not like a salesperson in certain, but I've seen you. The only thing that you feel comfortable selling, quote unquote, I don't actually believe it's selling. I think it's, you tell people about Jesus like it's the thing that will genuinely save their life and change their life because you believe it is. I believe it is too. But you have no problem doing that for someone.
It's true.
Like that's the area where I'm like, you hold nothing back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what is like how do we let that spread into everything else? Because I think I have that too. I think there's a self-check.
Yeah.
I would play, literally in basketball games, I would just be, I don't want to play offense. I'd play defense.
And I think
I'll just play defense.
This is a moment where I think in a very real way, we look into the camera and go, there's a lot of you listening who are self-checks.
Yes.
A lot of you listening who struggle with the same thing.
Yes.
A lot of you listening who are way underachieving in comparison to your talent, your ability, your intelligence, your gifting, your calling. And so, you might look at me and go, you've succeeded so much, but I want you to know that all my success is while carrying that deficit. And you just have to decide. And I made a conscious decision. I would not be a self-check, that I would not let missing the ball make me hesitate from shooting again. I may have had bad talks, and I just didn't let that bad talk tell me I couldn't get back up there. I was going to have a great talk was coming. Well, a great book was coming.
You're wild about the talks because you spoke 2 great messages on Sunday. You did one at 9:30, you did one at 11:30, and you're like, just don't let them use the 11:30. And I'm like, no, I just listened to both. 11:30 is it. Like both were great, but you just took off at the 11:30 in a different way. The room was, I think, even more with you, just in that way. And you're like, yeah, but I just said like 2 or 3 different words wrong. And I'm like, that's what experts say. No one would know that you said 2 or 3. Like I sit with notes and write those things down. Timestamp, said this word wrong. I didn't even catch those. And you're like, yeah, but there's just, little nuance.
Yeah, but one of the shadows of a seer is that they're a perfectionist.
I know. Yeah.
So you can see everything that was wrong with what you did, everything that didn't meet the standard of your vision.
And a seer is one of the 7 frequencies, which is the new book and the assessment. So if you need to take the assessment so you can kind of follow along on some of these references. But that's where I see the brilliance that I think a lot of people don't get to see. I think they get to see the finished product. And I think most people know you're a phenomenal communicator. But I really appreciate you sharing it, because I think that that's a struggle a lot of people have, but don't feel comfortable enough. Like, you've been doing this for 40 years.
Yeah. And I do think that our friend Jamie Lima, when she talks about you cannot exceed in your worth your level of self-worth. I think it's really important. It's kitschy.
Okay.
But sometimes, the cliche is rooted in the reality.
Okay.
And I do believe that you have to work on your self-worth.
Okay.
If you're going to change your financial worth or your life influence or your ceiling in life. And I feel like that's a part of my own journey. But I also think you have to find ways to give yourself permission.
Okay.
Like, I always saw myself as a permission giver, because I realized early on the number one thing people needed was permission. They just didn't know who to get it from.
Okay.
But it was hard to give myself permission.
Why? You're like the most empowering person I've ever experienced.
Well, I'm hoping I live long enough to be able to live in absolute permission. Like, if I have a drive in my life, it's not a number of how much money I want our company to make, or how many books I want to sell, or how many people I want to mentor or train. It's very personal. I want to know I've lived my life with absolute permission to be myself and to pursue my most insane dreams and to live at an optimal level of performance. And I don't think it's too late for me. I don't think I'm too old. And and that's the journey I'm on.
So what are 2 or 3 different things you're going to do to change the self-check nature?
Well, I think it's some things I am doing.
Okay, can you just walk us through it real quick, just like in 60 seconds?
We left the security of a publisher to go do what we wanted to do.
A great publisher.
A great publisher.
Publisher who liked us.
Yeah, and I know the president, and they met me for lunch for me to stay. So I left a wonderful situation to go create what we imagined we could do.
Yeah.
So you have to leave any level of security that does not move you into the future you imagine. And I did leave a lot of security. They would pay me a lot of money.
More money than I can pay you. That was, you were foregoing in advance.
Left a lot of money, a lot of security, a lot of prestige to pursue a complete free flow of ideas and of beauty and artistry. We're doing what we want to do without any restraint in that. And I think that's a part of what I'm doing. High risk for high uniqueness.
High reward.
Yeah, well, we believe the high reward's coming.
I believe it.
But for me, it wasn't even the high reward. It was the high uniqueness. I just want to do it the way I want to do it.
Meaning the book, the cover, the title, the subtitle.
The writing, the artistry, everything I want.
The paper, the ink.
Yeah, if the world rejects what I have, I want it to reject what I have.
But I think it was something, and maybe this is a fluke, and I hope not, but this book is performing better than
any book I've ever written.
We've ever written.
Yeah, I don't think it's an accident. I don't think it's not an accident.
I don't think so.
You have to trust your vision. That's a part of not becoming a self-check.
Yeah.
You have to trust your vision. You have to trust your perspective.
Yeah.
Like I've crafted a unique perspective of everything I do, and I have to trust that. And I limit it. I've limited in my writing, in my designs, in every arena. I've realized that I'm still on a journey to express myself in the full measure of what I see in my imagination and what I have in my heart. And that's a part of not being a self-check, is going,
trusting your vision.
Yeah. And no one's going to stop me. You don't have to help me. And I think that's one of the differences. I see a lot of people paralyzed because they think other people need to help them succeed. And they get bitter going, people didn't show up for me.
Yeah.
No one is responsible or obligated to help me succeed.
No.
But I am responsible and obligated to give my life fully to what I feel called to accomplish. And I think the moment you take ownership of that, you're so much more powerful.
So taking ownership of your own life.
Yeah.
Letting go of that safety net.
Mm-hmm.
And then trusting the vision.
And saying it out loud.
Saying it out loud.
Declaring it.
Yeah.
You know, where you throw your clothes on the other side of the wall, you're standing naked and you got to climb that wall to get to your clothes. And, I think it's like, you can't play it safe.
Yeah.
You just got to, you know, this is a go big or go home. And so I want the ball in my hands.
Yeah.
You know, I get mixed feelings on Luka, but he made a shot the other day. He was covered so intensely.
Luka Doncic on the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, and he made that shot. Do you hear what he's saying? That's what I do. And I love that. That's what I do.
That's what I do.
And I was going back to Ronaldo. I sent you this video. He's about to shoot a penalty kick, and you can hear him going, he's actually saying to himself, I score. I do this. He actually has like a little mantra of this is who you are. You make it. You know, and it's just this powerful moment where one of the greatest players in the world, one of the greatest athletes in the world, is having to remind himself. He's telling himself, "This is what you do. You score. These are your moments. This is what you have prepared for. Not just go do it." He's not trying to figure out who he is. He's telling himself who he is, and then he goes and proves it.
I think the self-check conversation is so unique. And I think, you know, I would say this is like, you're more empowering of me than you are of yourself at times. And so I get to live inside of a lot of that freedom. And you constantly remind me, like, it's okay if you fail. It's okay if you fail. Not everything has to go perfect and succeed the way that I envision it. You know, you're really big on like letting things go when they're at 85% finished. You know, you don't have that same fear of, which is weird to me. You'll take all the risk in the world, but sometimes you won't step into the, like, this is my thing. But I'm the same way. When people ask me what I'm doing, I'm like, I don't know. We try to make more money than we spend. You know, like that's the function of it. But really, we've built such a beautiful ecosystem that I've really become proud of.
Yeah.
Like, I love that I get to say we're in publishing. I love that we get to say we're in consulting, and we built the thing called The Arena, and we pick cool names and we build cool things, you know? And I don't know. I just hope that this conversation helps someone listening unlock their own internal structure and go, I've been a self-check, but I'm gonna take the ball. I'm gonna shoot. Yeah. Not so I can become famous or for my like glory, but to help the team. Because when you don't show up your best and you don't have the courage to at least try, you're actually hurting the people in your life by not bringing your best self there. I love that. I think there's a lot of people that resonate with this conversation.
Yeah.
I resonate with this conversation. I think there's so many people out there, because I think there's always this like inkling, this voice in the back of your head that just reminds you of all the things that you're not, you know? And I hate giving blanketed, generalized advice, but what do you do when there are people in your life? And we do this on The Arena. So a lot of the questions that we get on The Arena, it's you know, I have this person in my life, and always is family, or always, you know, family or marriage or a significant other. It's always that initially, you know, it's always the people closest to you. How do you create a culture within your friend group, your marriage, your relationships, where you create a culture of where it's not about critique and criticizing each other, but about uplifting and encouraging each other?
I do have a theory around family right now.
But tell me how you do that first.
Yeah. Well, the reason I think it's tough is because family is the only relationship system that you don't have to earn. So with every other relationship, you have to bring something to the table that makes the other person want to be your friend. Kindness, contribution, compassion, curiosity, interest, humor, whatever it is, right? You have to bring something to the table. But when you grow up, when you're a family, you don't have to bring all that. You know, you can be kind or not kind, you're still a brother. You can be interesting or uninteresting. You're still the dad, you know? And then you have to decide, oh, do I want this to be a healthy relational system? And so then I need to treat these relationships as relationships I should earn, not just accept. And I actually think that's the key. And I'll say this for myself, like with you and Mariah, and as you become adults, even when you're young, I never saw the relationship with you as something that you were obligated to have with me. I actually saw the relationship that I wanted with you guys something I needed to earn. And so I felt like I needed to bring like trust, kindness. I needed to learn how to listen. I needed to care about what you cared about. I needed to bring value to the relationship. And so to me, I related to you and Mariah, even though I was your parent, as the two relationships I need to earn the most with. So that I could be chosen as an insider throughout your life. And I think if we actually saw it like that, going, I want to earn the relationship. I don't have to. I'm always going to be a son. I'm always going to be a brother. You know, I'm always going to be a sister, you know, and I'm always going to be your dad, even if I'm a terrible one, you know.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. And I think that's the reality for most people, is that they have to decide, right? Because the family, there's friends are chosen family. Yeah. You know, and families chosen for you, you know, and so you don't necessarily have that same choice, but I guess you do, because you don't have to sit and be reminded of how, you know, insignificant you are by other people.
Yeah. I want to be both family of birth and family of choice.
Right. So, okay. So for family units that struggle with that space of creating a culture of, because you talked about making that a priority in pursuit of relationship, but how do you create a culture of an equal nature and equal stature, where it is this continuation of that good culture of equal and mutual pursuit, right? It's never always equal, but there's a mutual pursuit and mutual respect and mutual sacrifice.
Unfortunately, it only works when you have no expectation of the other person. And because when you try to control the other person's journey, it becomes more difficult and more frustrating. Like there were definitely seasons in like our relationship where I just told myself, I can't expect anything from him. He's got a journey to go on. So I need to, even if, you know, you only contribute 20%, I can't go, well, then I'm going to contribute 20%. I felt like I needed to contribute 100% of what I'm capable of. And so what I just try to remind myself of is the people in my life are giving me all they're capable of giving me right now. Man, hopefully they'll be able and be capable of giving more, because maybe I need more or I want more. But there have definitely been seasons where I go, I just have to remind myself this is all this other person is capable of right now. And it's helped me keep my expectations in a realistic space. And fortunately, it hasn't been a permanent situation in my life. I've been married 40 years. You cannot have the same expectation on your spouse every day for 40 years. There's some seasons that your expectations are close to zero. And then some seasons where your expectations are close to 100%. You know, and you have to learn how to mitigate that and how to relate to that in a healthy way. But there's no relationship in your life that will ever be perfectly satisfactory.
You know, one thing that I've noticed in dating, and this is just my friends dating, is like one thing I've noticed with my guy friends, just on feedback, and then and then what I tell my female friends, just giving feedback from my male friends, right? They're not dating each other, but a lot of it is and I don't know why, right? And so I think it goes for both ways. I'm just telling you from a male perspective. One thing I've sat down with like girlfriends of mine is like, hey, do you tell him the things you tell me about him? Right?
That's a great question.
Because we live in a society where if you give praise to someone or say something kind, one, it really is dependent on if that person's willing and able to receive that and capable of receiving that encouragement or that compliment. But two, I think we live in an era where we withhold a lot of kindness and generosity with our words and encouragement. So I always tell them, I'm like, hey, you're saying all these wonderful things about him. Have you told him this? Oh no, of course not, I wouldn't tell him that. But why wouldn't you? You think all these wonderful things about this person. I guarantee it would change their week. It would for sure affect their day, maybe change their week, maybe make their month, right?
Yeah.
And I do think we live in a world where there's a lot of options. We talk about this. We're like, the scariest thing about dating in 2024 is that everyone has options. Everyone's talking to different people, and it's like you hit, it hits shuffle, and everyone just changes everybody. It's just like a weird thing. I would never tell him, I would never tell her the things I'm telling you about my partner or my future partner or XYZ. And I'm like, no, change this foundation of your relationship by just saying the kind thing you're thinking, right? Or the thing that you need, and then not over processing, because that's a really tough thing with relationships, people who have to process everything.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sometimes things just don't need to be said, but I do think the good things need to be said. And sometimes the bad things need to be said. Hey, you're not giving me this. Like I wish as a son, I couldn't have fully processed what you needed, but I think if you had said it, I would have worked towards that need, and so I think there's a lot, but I also know that, like, I know when you travel, I'm not the priority. Like, I know when you're with mom, it's not about me. I know the parameters of our relationship, and like when I can get a text back, when I can get a call back, and when I can actually hang out, And so and so there's like different nuances, but I do think there's a huge shift in that. Building belief in others is a great gift, and a gift, I think, and an art I think we've lost in modern young society.
Yeah.
Of this, not just hyping someone up, but finding like what are the things that makes that person sitting across from you tick? What do they look inside themselves and go, I'm proud of my work ethic, or I'm proud of how I look, or I'm proud of the way I dress, or it's from depth to like meaningless things. And then finding those like pain points that could be positive and really feeding the positive side of things. I am like really convinced, maybe because I'm not a natural encourager, that we just live in a world that just isn't encouraging enough. And so I think like things like that, like self-check is reminding. What I love about JJ Redick and Bronny is JJ's not lying about Bronny's value. He knows what Bronny brings, and he told him, this is what I need from you to go work on in the summer for you to bring value to the team. And I'm like, that's such a healthy relationship. Hey, I know I'm getting you because you're your dad's son, but how I make you your own person is by helping you bring value to the space. So it's like, it doesn't matter how you get in the door. It just matters you stay in the room and build the house, And
it's true. And if you have someone in your life who actually can see you and help you be positioned in a way where you bring your greatest value, that's one of the greatest gifts you'll get. And it just, I don't know why I thought of this. When I was in college at Chapel Hill, we ended up playing intramural football, and it was huge at Chapel Hill, hundreds and hundreds of teams. And I was asked to put together a team. I think I had like 200 people try out for my football team.
That's crazy.
It was insane.
Yeah.
And so I had tryouts, and I told everyone it's going to be position specific.
Okay.
So if you try for running back, you're going to be measured against the other 8 running backs.
Yeah.
And if you're going to try out for, center, whatever. And so I did it like that. And I had a friend that I really liked. He was an okay athlete, but he was a wonderful human being. And I told him, I said, try out for center. I said, no one's going to want to be the center. And I want you to make the team. And he goes, you got it. And
just did it.
He tried out for center, and he had no competition because everybody wanted to be the wide receiver, running back, a quarterback, a safety.
Big 3,
but I was the quarterback, so
you were the quarterback. Your team, that does not surprise me.
And, if you tried out for quarterback, it was really disappointing. And then one guy came up. He tried out for running back. He was kind of a very chunky guy, not a bad athlete, but he wanted to be a running back, and we had great running backs. Yeah. And he didn't make the team, and he came back and he said, why am I not on the team? I'm better than him. You should have picked me over him. And I said, he tried out for center. He tried out for running back. That's why he's on the team. Yeah. He goes, yeah, but I'm the next best player. And he was.
So you just cut the next best player?
Next best player, 12th best, 25th, because I picked 24 players,
Yeah.
And I said, but this is what I'm going to do. We're going to create a second team because we got another 100 guys who want to play. Yeah. And you're going to be the captain of the second team. Okay. He goes, what? I said, yeah, and I'll make sure that you get to be the captain. You're going to put together this great team. I'll help you design it. So put together a second team. But my guy stayed, and the reason was because I valued that guy so much. I said, if you try out in any of these other positions, you will not make it. But if you try out for this, I'm going to be the quarterback, and I need someone I can trust.
Yeah.
I need someone who can snap me the ball really, really well. It's a shotgun kind of situation normally. And he got really good at that skill. And I did that throughout the years. I'd find a friend and someone that really valued it said, hey, try out for this position. Learn how to be the goalie. Everybody else wants to be a forward, the wing, the midfielder in soccer. If you'll go out for goalie, you'll make this team. And a lot of times in life, you need someone who can look at you and go, you're just not a quarterback. You know, and if you can let go of your ego and learn how to be a right tackle and realize there's great value on the team, then you elevate your value. And it's that way on teams. Like, you don't have to be the communicator. You don't have to be the lead singer. You know, you learn how to play the bass, or learn how, learn how to make a contribution, and your value will elevate. And I think part of the reason a lot of times we're self-checks is we're trying to play the wrong position. We're trying to play the wrong sport. We're trying to add value where we're just average, rather than adding value where we are actually exceptional. It's just not as glamorous.
Well, I like this conversation around self-check, and it's something I want to dive in deeper the further we go and talk about this. And so if you resonated with this, I want to hear feedback from you on Instagram. So post and tag and or DM as well. But guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Podcast, YouTube, wherever there's podcasts, you will find us. And Dad, I love doing this with you on our new little couch, our new old couch.
I love this too. This is so much fun.
So fun. Oh, and if you haven't purchased the book, you need to go to 7frequencies.com. We are now on Amazon. We also just released our ebook, which is so exciting. So it's on Kindle, it's on Amazon store. You can get on there. You broke the top 2,000 books on Amazon.
And the number one new release on interpersonal relationships.
It's so exciting.
It's very exciting.
Very
by
exciting.
the way, the assessment is also available.
Yes.
And so if you have not taken the 7 Frequencies assessment, go to the7frequencies.com.
And you can take the assessment.
Yeah.
You can only take the assessment there.
Yeah.
So go buy the bundle or buy the assessment test on its own, and you can take the assessment and jump on here and know everything that we're referring to. It is going to be kind of like the thesis and foundation, one of the foundations of what we like draw from and refer back
All the
to.
time.
So
Yeah.
join us on this journey. We love you. And if you're part of like organization, church, team, business, you want to do it with your team, you want to buy a bundle, go to the website, go to erwinmcmanus.com. You can also hit us up. You can DM us, email us, info@erwinmcmanus.com, and get more information on all that. But we will see you guys next week.
All right. Have a great week.
Love you, Dad.
Love you too.